Welcome back to the Rockman Power Hour, a podcast where we talk to the most interesting people in the world of pop culture, movies, music, and everything in between. This week on the show, we are joined by the actor and the writer, director, producer of a very cool movie called Protectors of the Land. Welcome back to the show, and thank you for joining us again. If you are listening on a streaming service, we appreciate you. If you are watching us on YouTube or on Facebook, we appreciate you as well. And make sure you like, subscribe, and tell your friends all about the Rockman Power Hour. We always appreciate the support, and you have no idea how much every like and every view makes a difference in our little world. It's like voting. So every time you click that like button, it tells us that you want us to keep doing it. And when you click the dislike button, we just say, fuck you, we don't care. Very, very much like this subject this week, because I was approached by a friend of mine and said, hey, I'm repping a movie that's going to be on Tubi that is called Protectors of the Land. I was like, okay, sounds really, really cool. The premise is really, really interesting. And it's available for free. So people will be able to watch it anytime they choose, because Tubi, as you know, is a free streaming service where there's a lot of great content on there. So all of the boxes were checked for me. And then when they said, also one of the main actors in the movies is Tim Rozon. And I was like, oh, Tim Rozon, I love him. A lot of people know him from Schitt's Creek. He was great in that. And he's known for a lot of other things. I was talking to my co-host Ryan the other day, and he was just saying that, hey, did you know he was in Karate Kid's Legends? And I was like, oh shit, that was him. So very prolific actor, a really, really hardworking actor, and a really, really nice guy. So he's joining us this week on the show, as well as the director, writer, and producer of Protectors of the Land, Lauro Chartrand-DelValle. So both of them joined us a little while back to have a conversation about this very, very unique, cool little movie that I think a lot of people will enjoy. It harkens back to those 80s action movies where, you know, there was a good guy, there was a bad guy, and you know a lot of shit was going to go down and someone was going to come out on top. So this one is very much rooted in that kind of vibe, but with a very, very, very clear positive message about drugs, about indigenous people. It's something else. And I really, really suggest that you check it out. It's available for streaming now on Tubi. The movie's called Protectors of the Land. And here's our conversation with Tim and Lauro.
First of all, if you didn't know Lash who Lash is, Lauro is the action man in Canada. So okay. it makes sense that it was going to be action.
It was right from the gate, man. When that guy loses his hand, I'm like, dude, we're going on a fucking ride. This is great. All right, right out of the gate, I just want to thank both of you guys for joining me today. I got a chance to watch this. I didn't watch it on Tubi. I watched the screener of it, which was kind of fun, because I was able to cast it to my TV, and it was still like a great experience. But from the jump, this movie just gets you. I mean, there's action like right out of the gate. You're like, oh man, this we're going on a ride here. But I really, really had fun with this movie. Like, I really had a good time with this movie. And I'm in the middle of doing all the Fantasia stuff that's going on in Montreal now. And I'm like, how am I going to fit this in? I want to catch this before I talk to these guys. I don't want to talk to them cold. So I sat down last night, late at night, and watched it. And I was just like, I'll watch the rest of it in the morning. I fucking had to stay up and finish it.
That's awesome. Great.
You know, I was in a band for a long time, and we toured quite a bit across Canada before went into the US. And I was holed up in Laurent, Saskatchewan, with a band, and they were Indigenous dudes, great guys, and we were stuck there for 3 days because of a snowstorm. So they were like, "Hey, do you want to go to a sweat?" I was like, "What the fuck is a sweat?" Come to a sweat with us. We drive into the middle of the woods, take off all our clothes. We leave our van there, our gear's in there. I'm like, they're robbing us. There's no way. Like, we're going into this thing, we're going in naked, we're getting robbed. I go into this thing, and dude, I saw things and it changed me. It really, really did. So when this aspect comes into the movie, I was like, oh my God, like I can relate to this, you know? So I know I'm gushing and I'm talking all like, but I was so excited to talk to you guys because there were so many things in this movie that connected with me on so many different levels. A, being an action fan, you know, being a fan of like 80s action movies where, you know, you've got a guy that's in there and he's got to defend something and there's, you know, there's something that happens that gets him angry and there's someone saying, you got to wait a minute and you got to play this game. And all of that was in there, which is unfortunately lacking in so many movies nowadays. Then there's the, you know, there's the aspect of understanding what it's like to actually be in a sweat and see things change. And then being proud that this is a Canadian movie. So I just wanted to say that I love this experience. I had a lot of fun. And I was really excited to talk to you guys. How did you guys feel going into this thing, knowing that you had so many different stories to tell, yet doing it in a way that was like, it appealed to so many people? Was it a hard task or was it a somewhat easy one for you guys?
Well, thank you. I'm glad you really enjoyed the film, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna bat that over to Tim because Tim had to do all the hard work on telling those stories. I mean, he actually said to me when we started, "You son of a bitch, you gave me one of the hardest gigs I've ever had." So take it away, Tim.
I would have said this is a Lauro question. First of all, if you didn't know Lash who Lash is, Lauro is the action man in Canada. So
Okay.
it makes sense that it was going to be action,
Oh,
not.
it was right from the gate, man. When that guy loses his hand, I'm like, dude, we're going on a fucking ride. This is great.
Yeah, you know, the past couple of years, for some reason, I don't know why now as I'm getting older, but my career's getting into a lot of action movies, and I've literally started working with the who's who of stunt people in North America and even abroad.
Okay.
You know, and everybody knows who Lauro Lash DeValier is and his reputation and what he's capable of in the action genre. So I was more impressed with some of the more tender stuff. And it's a brutal film. I mean, it comes out that I just rewatched the first 10 minutes. You're not ready for what happens.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm like you. I love those old 80s action movies. Let's get revenge. Let's kill everybody. I love that there was just, my favorite thing about it was there was like two sets of bad guys. It's like we deal with the one set, but then there's a whole new crew. The cartel shows up and then you got to wipe them out too.
Yeah.
It's just like nonstop. It was great. Loved it.
But there really is a tender story in there too. And there's, you know, about being accepted, about being, you know, about being a couple that aren't from the same world. And then, you know, having that thing where, you know, your wife's dad doesn't want to accept you because you're not from the same place. But then that acceptance happens when, unfortunately, you know, all these times where, you know, making up for lost time and then everybody kind of finding a way to work together. I thought that was really, really nice. And so I love stories that have a lot of different things going on at the same time, where it's not just like, we're just going to see a bunch of action. We're going to actually have a heart in there. And I think every movie has to have some kind of a heart, whatever it is.
I gotta throw kudos out to my executive producer and partner Charlene Royer, who convinced me to put more heart in it. When I when I first wrote it, it was just going to be a little action movie that we were going to go shoot in the woods, and people started to like the script and said, "No, we have to make it a little bit more." And then her and I had some conversations when we were driving out to her ranch, and she's like, "Well, we could add a little more family and a little more tenderness and a little more heart, and then that would drive him to be more vengeful when he loses something, you know, or goes after something." And so, you know, I kind of went, "You want me to write a Hallmark movie or something, you know?" And I was just pissed off for a couple of days and stomped the house and got it in my head, and then I added the Craig character who wasn't there originally. And,
wow.
now he's the main character, and the daughter and everything. So yeah, it made a huge difference when you add those heart, those pieces that come from the heart, and we can all relate to them. And then all the violence is, you know, reasonable in a sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's, you know, obviously there's violence for violence sake, but I found all the violence in here was, it was used very well, to, you know, to punctuate what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up, like I mentioned before, you know, I grew up on the Death Wish movies, like on when someone needs revenge, and you gotta love when your character has motivation and he has something that, you know, he wants revenge. He can taste the blood, but he's got to hold back, and just being able to, everybody wants that, even, you're in traffic and someone cuts you off and you're like, everybody wants to be able to live through that character that gets that revenge. But, just the way it was done, and it was, and there, I think the fact that he's living where he's living amongst people that not necessarily are from the same world as him, and he has to adapt. He has to kind of understand where they're coming from, and navigate that. That's another layer that you don't necessarily see in every action movie. And that's, I think, was one of the things that really, really adds to this, being a Canadian, and knowing what it's like to live amongst people that might not necessarily live the same way you do, but you have so much to learn from each other. It's great that there's that kind of that lesson in the movie as well.
Well, if anybody can bring layers, it's this man.
Yeah.
I mean, he from the get-go, he was just such a team player, and brought his A game and brought heart to it. And one of my favorite scenes is just him walking into that saloon, that bar, and you can see the wheels turning.
Oh yeah.
How am I going to deal with this? What am I going to do?
Yeah.
I don't even know. Where am I? And when that fist does that,
yeah,
I was just like, yeah, Tim's turning it on. Here we go.
Tim's dialed in. Let me ask you this: the two characters that are running for the brother and sister that are running for the cartel, where was that accent from? Her accent, because I was trying to pick up where it would have been from, so I was just curious where that came from.
Here's what I did in the casting. I said, I want a girl that is like Teeter on Yellowstone and Ruth on Ozark, and mix those two together. And I almost didn't cast her. I'll tell you why. Quick little weird story is I'm colorblind, and I see redheads as greenheads. So when she came on, I just kind of went pass. And she had a mousy little voice. She said, hi, my name's Corey Woods. And I went, no, this is not her. And then Charlene said, no. They put the time in. They do the self-tapes. You got to watch them. Okay, yeah. So I watched it. And she did her slate again. And then all of a sudden, hi. I was just like, whoa. And we watched her tape. And I went, that's her. And I don't know where that comes from, somewhere down south. But, man, she played it so well. And she's usually just a Hallmark sweetie, and she just showed the range that she has and the talent that she has. So big kudos to Corey Woods, because she brought it as Trish the Dish.
I got, when that name comes up, you're like, Trish the Dish. Oh man. And I would love to see her in something else, because I can't right now unsee her. To me, she's just that character, which, obviously proves where she, where her acting chops lie.
And her brother Patrick was so brutal and just played that role so well. Our whole cast was so amazing.
Oh, it was great. It was really, really good.
You guys, Tim, you guys gelled so well. It was just like, it was such a joy to see them come to set and just knock it out of the park. It was crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, other than the script, the cast was a big draw for me. I had known all of them and couldn't wait to work with Tanaya and Nathaniel, and then of course Graham Greene. It was the cherry on top. I mean, who doesn't want to work with Graham Greene in Canada, in North America? Any actor. I mean, just give me a scene with Graham Greene, sign me up. And I had actually worked with Corey before. We did a movie called Spread about the porno business in the 70s. So when I said Corey Woods was doing it, I was excited to see. And then, when she showed up on set, I said, yeah, that's an actor. Totally different person. Never would have known it was the same person. She's great. Amazing.
Tim, let me ask you, since, the popularity of Schitt's Creek, do you find a lot of doors are opening for you now? Do you find a lot of people are paying attention that might not have been? Because I know how long you've been acting for. I know you've been doing this for a long time. Some of my buddies, I've got my buddies are the guys from Black Fawn. So, they've been talking about you for years too. How did your world change when that started becoming a sensation on Netflix?
Well, first, not to get sidetracked, but what was the name of your band in Montreal?
Slaves on Dope.
Yeah, I know exactly who your band was. I just wanted you to say it out loud. Your band was huge, man. I've been acting since your band used to win every battle of the band when I was 15 years old back in the day, and no one had a chance, man. That's how long you've been around.
That's so funny.
You guys are awesome, man.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, so I've been doing this for a long time. Creek did opens up some doors. I started getting a lot of calls and scripts sent to me, which was kind of the first time that had happened.
Sure.
And this was one of them that it was kind of around for a while.
Right.
And there was just no way I was going to let it go. And I was just drawn to it immediately. And I love the fact that Charlene, if it's up to Charlene who put it in there, the love story, the aspect of it really helped me. Being a father, being a husband,
Yeah.
I mean, it was just it's so much easier to find the rage when you're a parent.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now, you know, like now my daughter's alone. It's not just you kill my wife, you killed the mother of my little girl. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm gonna kill you. It's over.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think we can all relate to that.
yeah, Creek was huge, and you know it's funny because it wasn't immediate.
Yeah. No, I know.
We were just kind of doing Creek, and then just pre-COVID, it kind of hit the streamers, and then boom, yeah.
And I mean, it exploded, and and you know, all of us that kind of knew it from Canada, we were like, oh man, everyone's like, it's like when you discover a band that you love, and then everybody is into them, and then you're just like, man, fuck that, like that's mine. But you're happy too, because you know we do have this Canadian pride, and you know, especially that's bubbling, you know, under and up past the surface now with everything that's going on in the world. So so when you get a show like that starts winning everywhere, and everyone's talking, like all my American friends, like I had friends in bands in the US are like, hey man, have you seen fucking Schitt's Creek? It's hilarious. I'm like, yes, I've seen Schitt's Creek. Yes, Eugene Levy is a fucking genius. We've known that for years. So it was nice to see that happen. It was nice to see Canadians winning, you know, abroad, which is always, you know, something that we're always going to want to see as Canadians, I think. What are the chances of you guys working together again? Because obviously there's something magical that was happening there, because that movie was great.
Very, very high.
Okay.
Very, very high.
Is there some stuff in the works that you can give me a kind of a hint about, or no?
Well, I'm a huge Western fan, and fortunately, so is Tim. So we're working on putting a Western together right now. I'm going on to Shogun season 2. Charlene and I are both going on to that, so that's a year's worth of work. So we've got to. The script has been written and it's ready to go. It's just a matter of putting all the pieces of the puzzle together. So we've got a year to do that. So we're hoping. And I've always wanted to shoot this movie in the fall. It's called Crimson Creek Massacre, and
I like it already.
Yeah, so we're hoping to do it fall of 2026. That's the goal. You know, it's a tough business, and who knows what'll happen, but. I've got a great man on my side, and so we're really going to push and try and get that one going.
Well, guys, thanks for taking the time today. Protectors of the Land, definitely check it out. It's on Tubi now streaming, and I really, really suggest people checking this movie out, because it really does have something for everyone, and I think it's a great, I mean, maybe not a family watch if you've got young kids, but it definitely is a family watch if you've got teens, because I think everybody could get something from this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us, and everybody go stream Slaves on Dope.
Let me just stop
the Land on Tubi.
Let me stop recording this for a second. Hang on. Really, really cool to get to know both those guys. And well, I did not expect Tim to be a former fan of Slaves on Dope. Hey, that's pretty crazy. Thanks again for joining us on the show. Really, really, I strongly suggest you check out this movie. Go to Tubi and check out Protectors of the Land. You will not be disappointed. And Lauro has been involved in a ton of stunt stuff and a ton of other action stuff, working on the Shogun series right now. So he talks about that a little bit in the interview, which was really cool. And Tim, well, hey man, you know, anybody out there that is a fan of Canadian cinema or Canadian television, you've seen him. And I believe that this guy has a huge career ahead of him. One that he's already knee deep in, but I think the future is really bright for him. I think he's somebody that's always going to be working and always going to be in interesting projects. And this is one of them. So definitely check out Protectors of the Land. I want to thank my co-host Ryan Stick, who couldn't be here this week. I want to thank my producer, Julia Kajerski. And I want to thank all of you for being with us on this journey. Don't forget, in the next couple of weeks, you will be seeing us at a very, very cool festival called Music for Cancer, which we always like doing. It's our second year going back, and we'll be interviewing a ton of the bands that are there. We'll be on location. So make sure you check out our socials, Instagram, Facebook, and everywhere else in between to see some of that great content. Kind of like what we did at Fantasia. We're going to be there trying to talk to as many people and being out on the street, which is nice because us being locked in these little boxes isn't always the best thing. Until next time, we'll see you on the Rockman Power Hour. Hey, thanks so much for watching the podcast. We really appreciate your support. And if you're enjoying the podcast, click this link right over here to watch the next episode, and click right over here and subscribe. And that way you won't miss anything.